What's going on, guys? Kiger here. A lot of people are very confused about what units to use in this game, and it's a very valid question. A lot of people like the mages, the swordsmen, and things like that. I'm going to walk you through every single tank that we have in the game, talk about their bonuses, weaknesses, and which one you should bring. Let's get into it. Alright guys, let me know down below if you would like to see the same thing but with the other classes and which one you would like to see next. We're going to start with the very first one on the list, Albedo Raven Black Guardian. So I like that they're doing this where they have the same unit but at different points of the show which have different abilities, right? So this is at the very beginning, if you're familiar with the show, where Ainz doesn't want to show off who Albedo really looks like, so makes her dress in this tanky outfit, takes her out, and then that's their first interaction with the real world. Now, as you see, she's a blue tank. I want to call it water. 176 speed. You would think that's a lot. This is at max stats. But as we'll see later, we can get up to about 200 with tanks. You can have the argument, do I want my tank to be fast or slow? And with a turn-based game like this, that all depends on the tank itself, as we'll see. Basic deals damage. Every tank does 50% attack and something else. So in this case, she's doing 50% of her defense, scales up to 70%. And then 50% chance to do attack down for 2 turns, but it goes to do 100% chance right here. So at max, 50% attack, 70% defense, do 100% chance to attack down for 2 turns. It's alright, nothing to write home about. We'll see better as we go. Passive gains 12% defense, which equals damage with the basic, as we saw. Grants demonic barrier to an ally right when they're attacked to 2-turn cooldown. This is nice because it's every 2 turns, whatever ally is attacked first, you give them a shield. Do the shield, and while they have shield, they have a chance to do a counterattack. And they get a 30% bonus counterattack on this. So if you have a unit, let's say the swordsman Momo, that does bonus damage and effects based on counter, or I'm blanking on the names, I'm sorry, the Sebas, he builds up his stacks whenever he attacks, and then when he has enough stacks, he does more damage and gets resets. So giving him extra attack so he can get more stacks faster is a very valid strategy here. Also, the defense goes up to 18%, 50% extra attack back, really good here. Then we have their special ability, and then we'll have their ultimate. So the special gives her and a target shield. The shield is 110% of her defense, which is increased by her passive. Advantage, so before the match starts, gives demonic barrier to all allies. Which is the effect itself. So everyone gets the shield when the match starts. Using the skill grant shield to the target and Albedo. Advantage beginning. -1 cooldown, so every 2 turns. It has a 1-turn cooldown, so the second turn you can use it. And it scales more defense up to 143%, which is huge. So start a combat, give it to everyone. Whenever they have shields, they have, as you see here, when an ally with shield, this is a passive, this is always active. They all have 50% counter chance when you have the level 5 effect, which is massive on your entire team. Then we have the ultimate. Deals damage, attack, and defense. When you hit, 100% base chance. So there's base chance and fixed chance. Based chance is increased by your effect bonus and reduced by their effect resistance. As we see right here where my pointer is, crit res, EP. This is effect percent, I guess is the wording for it. And then ER, effect resistance. So your 100 plus this number minus their number. To inflict taunt to the primary target. Reduces damage taken by 15% when attacked by the taunt target. 100% chance. Base. Damage down for 1 turn. Duration extended by 2 rounds if they have control immunity. As we'll see over here, if someone's been taunted, they get calm right afterwards for 1 turn where they're immune to taunt. So that's what this is saying. You can give them damage down if they're immune to being taunted. And as we can see on bosses, it'll make the boss still only attack Albedo, but it won't do the other effects. Reduce their damage by 21% on her, minus 1 cooldown, so every 3 turns. Right now it says 3. It's 3 turns and then the turn you use it, so it's effectively 4 turns. So with the minus 1 it becomes 3 turns. So we've seen Albedo, and as a reminder, all the arc lights, you can have the base tank arc light and you can have the arc light for the unit. This is the arc light for the unit, as you see her right there. She will get the EX effect and the general effect. EX effect because it's for her. Just as the bonus, all the tank ones will have the same HP attack and percent defense. When an ally with shield is under attack, increase their counter attack by 15% and grants a 25% fixed chance of taunt to the target, up to 3 counters per round. So this actually scales as you get more stars to it to double, so it'll give them 30% more counter. And her shield naturally, when you max it out, gives them 50%. So with this maxed and her maxed, it's everyone with shield has 80% counter. General effect, 60% fixed chance to recover 5 doubles to 10% max HP when taking damage, triggers once per action. So if they hit you with multiple hits of the same attack, it will only trigger once, but every attack you will recover 10% max HP. This is very good on any tank, but this bonus is obviously pretty wild. Then we have what a lot of people are really liking right now, Platinum Dragon Lord's armor. Basic, this is not the basic. That is that ability. That's the basic. So speed, about the same. We don't have any bonuses down here. Damage, attack and defense, same as the other. Scales, same as the other. And instead of attack down, he gives shock. And shock is a very interesting effect. It does damage on their turn start. 100%, 40% of your attack, which the tank isn't really building attack, so that's not really going to build much. But what shock is very interesting is it triggers all the other shocks for 20% attack, which is pretty interesting. So you can have a wider range of damage with electric units. Passive, character's shield is 21% stronger than other shields. While the character has shield, performs support for all allies, up to 2 supports per round. Support is the first thing you see in the game when you're introduced to tanks, where they jump in front of them to block incoming attacks. So while he has a shield, he will support everything up to 2 times per round. Shield strength goes up to 30% and gets rid of 2 debuffs from the character before using the skill. So, how do I explain that? When he goes to jump in front of someone, it purifies the person you're blocking for. Then we have the special 5 rounds, which is kind of a lot. Deals damage, attack, and defense. Grants shield for 2 turns. Shield can absorb damage for 140% of defense. Hitting grants 100% base chance of shock for 2 rounds. When shield is removed, heal for 10% max HP. Hitting base 1 turn of stun. 2 rounds of stun, 2 rounds of shock. Shield is removed 10%, 1 round, -1, so it becomes 4 rounds. This is a single target skill, dealing damage, stun them, shock them, and gives you more shield to stack with your magic on mutation. That says when you have shield, it shields 21% more, and you jump in front of people. Last is the big thing that people like with him, and that's World Isolation Barrier, 4 rounds. Can endure for 100% of the HP and 300% of defense, which is a massive shield. Grants 100% base chance of shock, 2 random enemies for 2 rounds, prioritizing targets without shock. While barrier is active, transfer damage is reduced by 20%. So takes 20% less damage, -1 cooldown, so it becomes 3 rounds, so really 4 rounds as I explained earlier, and then it scales to 130% max HP and almost 400% max defense. So if you put a defense set on him, that is a huge amount. And then down here, when you use it, it gets rid of a debuff from all your allies. Very, very good. As a reminder, debuff and control effects are 2 different things. So attack down, defense down, things like that. This will get rid of because that's classified as a debuff. And his Arclight card, when the shield shatters, purifies a debuff from all allies and grants a shield by 90% defense for 2 rounds. So you have a shield in front of you for everyone. When the shield breaks, it gets rid of debuffs from everyone and gives them a 90% defense shield for 2 rounds. He's just all about defense, defense, defense. 60% fixed chance, so it's not increased by your chance, it's not decreased by their chance to recover. This gets doubled, 10% max HP after taking damage. Triggers once per action. So very similar to the other one we saw. Pretty good so far. And the one that I think is the most pay to win one is the Shalltear Crimson Armor. Attacks target, dealing 50% attack and 6% HP. That is a big scaler. Up to 10% HP of damage. Ridiculous. Hitting grants 50% chance of Vampire's Hand, which as we see over here, the debuff that heals the attacker for 6% of their HP after hitting. So when you hit this target, Shalltear heals for 6%, which is pretty good. 100% base, 2 turns. Passive. When HP is above 60%, trigger sharing to absorb 40% of damage taken by all allies. This scales up to 50%. When under 50%, absorbs 50% of damage from all allies. When she takes fatal damage, time reversal with a 5-turn cooldown. Time reversal, she effectively ignores the last time that she took damage. Right here, HP to the state of the last action. Upon triggering time reversal, heals 20% max HP. So you have to kill her twice. Upon triggering sharing, gain 1 stack of Vampire Frame, as we see over here. Reduces damage taken by 12%, stacks up to 2 times. So if she gets hit several times, this will be 24% less damage. Additionally, restore 40. It's not 20 and 40. It goes up to 40% max HP heal when time reversal happens. So once that happens, you have 5 turns to kill them, or they'll have another time reversal up. Special attack and HP scaling really well as a damage tank. Very good on these game modes where you only have X number of turns to beat it. Gain 50% chance defense down for 2 turns. Reduces target's turn meter by 20%. Anytime in these turn-based games, if you can mess with their turn meter, this is massive. 100%. Scale to 12% max of HP. Hitting a target, 100% fixed chance of defense down, so it'll always be defense down for 2 turns. Reducing their turn meter, 2 turn cooldown, very good. Ultimate negative impact shield, I like this skill a lot. Gain the shield for 2 turns. Reduces all enemies' attack by 15%, not stacking with other attack reduction, so whichever one's the highest is the one that affects the enemy. Detonate the shield upon hitting, dealing follow-up damage to all enemy units. So when she puts it up, and then the next time she hits, it blows it up. When dealing follow-up damage, the shield additionally heals the ally with the lowest HP. Very good. Doubles down here to lowering their attack by 30%. Converts 50% up to 100% of the damage dealt by the skill into HP for Shalltear, which, as you remember with the passive, she takes half of everyone's damage if she's above 50% and has that time reversal. Very good. Then their specific card, Resurrection, Javelin, and Negative Impact, which is the special and ultimate, increases defense by 30% and extends duration of defense down by 2 rounds. So instead of for 2 turns, it's now for 4 turns. This effect is for everyone that uses this card. 60% fixed chance to recover 10% max HP when taking damage once per action. This effect is on all the ones we saw so far. So that's all for the SSRs. Now let's talk about the SRs for the free-to-play or low spenders. When these banners come around, you can go ahead and go for them. Albedo is probably... Alright, so Paladin, Platinum Dragon Lord armor is the most defense-based one. The one focused most on defense. Shalltear is just not really a tank, taking enough damage so you can push through it by just doing more damage and healing. Trying to heal through everything, has the lowest speed of the bunch, but also does the most damage with the percent HP. The most in the middle will be Albedo of the Raven Black Guardian. So that's how I feel about them. But right now, the only way to get Shalltear Crimson Armor is to pay the $100 for the pack, or summon on the regular banner and get lucky with the 0.6% chance. So good luck until they're available on a banner. Now for the ones that are always available, Death Knight. Basic attack, HP attack, and percent HP. So he's showing that Shalltear type damage, as we'll see. We'll also see he's effectively a watered down Shalltear. This heavy strike hits pretty hard. Passive, upon death, resurrect with 60% HP with a 10 turn cooldown versus Shalltear's 5 turn time reversal. And then this goes up it goes all the way up to 60%. Special 1 round cooldown, so you can do it every other turn. Grants sharing to the specified ally. Maintain consumes duration before the inflictor acts. So every beginning of his turn, he will lose a stack of it for 2 turns. So he's only doing it for 2 turns. Absorbing 50% up to 70% of the damage they will take. So he's definitely more of a tank than Shalltear. And it only has the 1 cooldown, but you will effectively want to do it every 3rd turn because it's active for 2 turns. Then the ultimate, after using, gain 3 stacks of shield wall for 2 turns. Which, as we see, debuff that forces enemies to target the character with shield wall first when they attack. So the first 3 attacks over the next 2 turns have to attack him. In shield wall state, he gets 14% damage reduction, which is pretty good. He also has a very high speed, which means you can get his sharing up very quickly. And when shield wall is removed, as we see, he can heal up to 30% of his max HP. So, the next 3 attacks, or when the 2 turns happen, he's going to get a 30% max HP heal. In shield wall state, being attacked inflicts bleed, which 25% of the attackers attack, which is pretty strong. You can also pair him with things like Coyotes, which doubles bleed damage, and he's a damage dealer, so you can inflict them with the bleed from the reflect here of shield wall, and then double bleed damage, so it'd be 50% of his attack. Increase damage reduction to 20% and 4 stacks of shield wall, so the next 4 attacks. So all SRs also have specific Arclight cards, which is very interesting. I compared this game a lot to Honkai Star Rail, and I haven't played it in a bit, but I played it a lot at launch, and at that time only the SSRs had their specific cards. Over here, the SRs also have their own cards. And you can go to the exchange shop and get this for relatively cheap, so it's always available to you. Using Bonded Vitality, which this word doesn't show up anywhere on it. Oh, sorry, it's one of the other ones that doesn't show up as the word. When using the special, grants defense boost to Death Knight and the target that you are blocking, and heals 5% max HP for 2 turns. So every start of your turn, you'll heal 5% max HP. And then the same chance of healing that all the other ones had. 60% chance, recover 7% max HP after taking damage, which is lower than the 10% for the SSRs. So Death Knight is looking pretty good, especially with that extra 15-ish speed over all the SSRs. Then the one that they give you for free at the very beginning, Yuri, basic attack and defense. Speed 200, so the fastest one we've seen so far. Passive leads the battle, 16.5% plus to defense. Grants Yuri a 50% chance of having the Pilatus, which are these units, all the battle maids. So she's very good with the battle maids, especially Sebes would be really good. With the highest attack to launch and assist, available once every round, prioritizes Sebes, as I said, and the assist when he is present. Remember, whenever he does an assist, whenever he does any kind of action, he gets his stacks, and when he has enough stacks, he can just start throwing off those ultimates over and over and over again. 10 gives them gains an attack boost equal to her 10% of her defense, which is pretty good. Then her special, which gives her the support, which is, remember, she jumps in front of them. Support for 2 rounds, 10% damage taken down. Gains debuff immunity for 2 rounds. Inactive immunity. I was saying before how debuffs and other kind of things are different. As an explanation right here, debuffs are like attack down, speed down, things like that. Inactive, as we see right here, stun, frozen, and sleep. As we see it scales, we can get inactive immunity for 1 round and debuff immunity for 2 rounds when using the skill. And at max, we'll take 19% less damage during support for 2 turns. And that's the idea. With her having 200% speed, she can get Responsible Senior up very, very quickly. And if you have a good healer, you can get this going very powerful. My favorite one for this would be Renner, which will also give your entire team speed bar up. Then we have her ultimate. This one kind of confuses me because you're kind of giving them that. I'll explain it as we go. 2 attacks, damage equal to attack and defense, 100% base chance of stun, so plus your EP minus their ER. Hitting grants 100% base chance of speed down for 2 turns. Skill -1, so it'll be 2 round cooldown, but you'll be able to use it the 3rd round. Scales up, grants defense boost for 2 turns. So the issue here is this is base chance and not fixed chance on both effects. So you need to get some EP on her so that she can land this stun and speed down. Or you just hope that it being a 3-turn cooldown, you can just do it enough times that you'll eventually get the stun and speed down. And giving you that defense boost for 2 turns is pretty good. Her specific card, Battle Maid's Punch. Impact Blow, which is your ultimate. Reduces primary target's damage to characters besides Yuri by 15%. And then she has that 7% heal, like all the others. Last but not least, we have 8th Seat of the Black Scripture. His speed is the lowest out of everything we've seen. Basic, attack and defense. Passive, 15% defense. When an ally is hit, 70%, 100% chance to trigger support, with the chance to reduce by 15% for every 5% lost HP. So when this is maxed out, when you're at 90% HP, it's 70% chance. So this goes low fast. So he, at the very beginning, he'll block hits, but he loses it very quickly. Special activates fortified defense for 1 round, during which the damage taken reduced by 10%. Triggers support for all allies, so now he supports everyone. Grants defense boost to all allies for 2 rounds. This is for the supports for 1 round because it's during the fortified defense. Defense boost 2 rounds. Defense boost all allies 2 rounds. Reduces damage taken 19% with a 2-round cooldown. And then his shield. This is the one that doesn't show up anywhere. When supporting, restore HP equal to 30% of Mirrored Barrier. Mirrored Barrier, Fortified Defense, Emergent Rescue, Shield Bash. Nowhere does Mirrored Barrier show up, but it is talking about right here, Fortified Defense, the shield that he puts up. Restores HP for 30% of Myriad Banner's defense for the supported target. So you jump in front of them, take the hit, reduce by 19%, and they get healed by 30% of the defense. And then the regular heal. And then last but not least, we have the generic one, which I thought I put. So here we have the generic SR one, which as we see, increased defense by 3%. Both of these numbers double when you max it out. 6% for every 15% HP lost, up to 24%. So it's pretty good. As you lose HP, you get more defense, so you take less damage. Remember that defense only affects attack, so M defense is what you need for magic attacks. And right now, a lot of the damage happening is magic, so probably not the best. And Justice has arrived. Recover 9% or 18% max HP when it's maxed. If HP is no more than 75, that's worded so weird. If you're at 75 or less percent HP, and then with a 1-turn cooldown at the after an action, not your action. So at the end of any player's turn, if you're under 75% HP, you will heal 9 or 18% max HP, and then after it comes back around, after your turn comes back around, then it can trigger again. Let me know what you guys think about the tanks. As I said, I think for the spenders, Shalltear Crimson Armor is obviously the best. If you're just trying to be a flat tank, Platinum Dragon is very, very good. If you're trying to find a happy medium, Albedo is the one to go with. If you are an SR player, I think Death Knight is above and beyond the best generic tank. But if you're working on a combo team with the Battle Maids, then Big Sister Yuri is the one to go with, especially if you have Sebas to get his stacks going. Let me know what you guys think down below. Till next time, guys.